It's another weekend and we are back on your screens again with another exciting edition of your favorite Saturday show, Captured by Women. I'm Rosemond and I'm joined by my co-presenter Nanama and Catherine, who is our guest host. So for today's show, we will look at the recent clashes between the Commonwealth Hall students of the University of Ghana and the Katanga Hall students of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. And then on Big Bang, we are taking it a notch higher. So we'll look at two issues. We'll discuss the unraveling SNIT software issue and then also talk about the double payment of salaries to past MPs and ministers. And then later on Career Women and Lifestyle segment, we will feature two amazing ladies who are doing great work in their respective fields of work. So stay tuned. It promises to be fun, exciting. We'll be right back after this short pause. For Spin today, we are discussing the clashes between students of the Commonwealth Hall of the University of Ghana and Katanga Hall of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. This was sparked by a video that went on social media that showed how some students of Katanga Hall assaulted and mistreated one of the students of Commonwealth Hall. So let's take a watch at the video and then we'll come back to discuss further issues therein.
Send message, Mom. Kasa. Take your shut up.
What you do?
I'll send message on Kasa. Shiromo, Nenebe cow. What do you? Shatana, not send message over here. No, this is the second time. Shatana, not send message, Mom. Mubatek, Muslim, you left your whole board report and things. No, send a message
sorry, what you do need first? You beg.
Then I'm from Major, Cardium from Major, I'm pay 300 cities. If I'm a Ube, as I will go, but I'm 300 cities. Wow. I'm fast scanning, sunny, punching Major, and it's our uncle. When I boy them beat them, they make them show, otherwise they will see.
My boys to beat them.
So ladies, we've all watched the video. We know that this whole issue started as a result of this video that went viral. And the genesis of the whole issue was when students of Katanga Hall came to University of Ghana to participate in an intellectual activity.
Yes, debate.
Yeah, debate.
By tertiary students.
By the tertiary students. And we learned that the focus of the event was actually to refocus their efforts from fighting over, what is it? Is it prowess? Yeah. To looking at how they can engage themselves intellectually. But rather, the event became
something else.
Something else that
for me even defeating the very purpose.
So what do you think about it?
Long and short of it is, I can't get enough of this video because every time I watch it, what I'm filled with is disappointment and actually anger. I, for one, I've heard many people saying that this is nothing new. It happens all the time, but maybe because of the era of social media, now we can see it and so we know what really goes on. But I have never been for whatever happens in these halls because see, university is the institution for higher learning and this is where you're being groomed for the world out there, to go out there and be the champion, to go out there, be the leader that you're supposed to be. So if at that, younger age where you're being groomed for such a role, you're doing activities such as this, engaging seriously in activities that look a bit like terrorism or vandalism, I find it very disappointing. Remember,
they
also
are vandals anyway.
Yeah, vandals, that's what the name is. I think it's high time we change that name. But you see, those are names that are just attached to it as nicknames, if I should say. The real name is Commonwealth. And you see, I understand that, yes, these institutions or these particular halls, Unity and Commonwealth halls, are halls where the guys just feel free to mingle, to be boys, whatever it is. We understand that, and I think that would have been beautiful to have such a, a group on campus or a place where you feel at home. But when they step beyond those boundaries and start actually vandalizing and being hooligans, for lack of a better word, I think that's very unfortunate, and it has to stop. Now that we have been able to see what really goes down, I think it's high time everyone channels their energy into forcing them to cut down on these activities. That's not the reason why they're in this institution. And like you said, for a debate, to channel your energies elsewhere, and then we see you doing the very things we're trying to prevent you from doing. I think that's very appalling.
So for me, I was happy when some arrests were made, because these ones cannot be considered as children. They are not children anyway. Most of them are above 18, and so they can be considered adult, and so they should be made to face their irresponsibilities. But for me, one thing that we should also be talking about is the fact that most of these people are not even in the 3rd year or 4th, first year students. Where did they learn this from? And that goes to tell us that things are happening in our second cycle schools that we may not be aware of. I don't know if you remember, not too long ago, there was an issue in one of the girls' schools that I only want to mention, some sort of occultism, and I don't even know where that issue ended. But the fact is that these are realities on the ground, which is happening. Sometimes our society, we pretend as if they are not happening. We defend our children, but the reality is it is happening. And so I think it is high time, as parents, as teachers, as authorities, stakeholders, we sat down and addressed these issues head on before it graduates, because right from second cycle university, they graduate, come into society, they become these political big wigs, and then this thing continue and continue and continue.
But the point is, this is not the first time. There's been past occurrences. What happened in those instances? Was decisive action taken?
No.
So it's like a vicious cycle.
Expelled. I remember at least before I entered the university, I'd have heard of instances where 2 or 3 people had been expelled. But exactly, I don't think just expelling them was enough, you know, for the vandals or the unit, because they keep doing it, which means that whatever punishment you're meting out to these guys is not deterrent enough for them to stop. And that's why I really agree with Catherine, because the bullying is real in these secondary schools. We hear about it. Our children come home, or our siblings come home and tell us the stories, but they're all afraid, because when you go and you even tell the teachers will tell you that when they report and they ask them, mention 1 or 2 people who perpetrated this crime, they're afraid, because when they leave, when your father or mother is not there, they'll beat you and even worse.
So some arrests have been made. Let the law take its course, and then I think we can take it on from there.
No, but the other issue is that with all the stakeholders involved, how can we arrest the situation? What is the role of the alumni of these halls in curbing this behavior? The university themselves, knowing the friction and tense situation between these 2 halls, anytime they are meeting, what security arrangements are put in place to prevent these? And the student leadership of the halls, what is being done to them? So you realize that I think the stakeholders involved have done little or nothing to try to curb it. And for me, I think that it's high time, let's say the alumni, as I mentioned, engage with this student leadership, engage with the student body to try to teach them, you know, not to engage in this behavior.
So maybe this should be a turning point for the whole situation. Everybody should come on board. Let the police pursue this matter to its logical conclusion. Let the law take effect, and then maybe we can see what happens thereafter.
All right. Okay. So we'll wrap it up here on Spin. Catherine has said everything. We hope that we see some more decisive action to prevent future occurrences. We'll take a break now, and we'll be back with the other segments.
Welcome back. So this is Big Bang, and we're going to talk about 2 heavy topics. We'll be delving into the MPs who have been alleged to have taken double salaries. We'll be finding out more about this issue, and then also we'll delve into the SNIT software scandal and many other scandals that have rocked us. We're talking about corruption, and do you think this is going to help the fight against corruption? But talking to us about the SNIT software issue, I have in the person of Beauty Emefanate, who is the Executive Secretary for Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition. Good afternoon, Beauty.
Good afternoon.
So let's talk about this SNIT scandal, and also just situate it in the bigger context of corruption and the fact that some people have been named, some investigations have started. But do you really think this is going to help Ghana in the fight against corruption?
Thank you very much. When you look at the fight against corruption, prosecution is one of the key elements in terms of serving as a deterrent in the fight against corruption. And it is important that this is done, because if you don't prosecute, it becomes more of a free-for-all, and people do not even have restraint in terms of what they do or their actions. I would always want to say that human beings are human beings everywhere. It's the systems that we put in place that serves as a check and a balance. So where issues of this nature happen and then prompt action is taken, it helps in its way, serving as a clear signal to people who are in public office that there is some measure of accountability, and that you can't just take public office resources or just dip your hand into the public office and then go scot-free. So it is important to the fight against corruption. But that notwithstanding, it is also important that we even prevent it from happening. I think that is also a place that we should lay more emphasis on, because when you look at a crime committed and then we have to investigate and punish, it takes a lot
with state resources.
In terms of resources. It also takes a while, because if you look at the snake scandal, it started some time back and we are still on it, and it will keep going. But if you're able to put preventive measures in place and then minimize it, then it makes corruption a high-risk venture. So it becomes naturally demotivating, and people are not able to just go into it, even if they so desire. So it is important as a country we should place more emphasis on that, and then also complement it with awareness raising and sensitization, so that citizens will understand the implications. Because sometimes the pressures that citizens put on people in public office is also another element of it kind of motivates people or puts pressure on them. So there are people who are not able to stand the pressure and then they give in. But if we all come to that realization that all these resources are for us, and we need to protect the coffers of the states, then in our own small ways we are able to help people in public office.
Now, Beauty, is it just enough that at least we've seen these things happening, or what really should be done? Is it just in the mere fact that, oh, so-and-so has been suspended? Just in the space of about 2 weeks, the Deputy Sports Minister has been suspended, the GAC board chair has been suspended, Metro Mass board boss has also been asked to proceed on leave, now SNIT. But these things are not new for us. We've seen them happening over the years. Where in this country, when someone involved with a sports scandal was asked to step aside, the next thing we saw, he was at the Flagstaff House. So somebody will ask, I mean, to what extent would this go in helping us in the fight against corruption?
Yes, you are right there, and that is why this time we are actually pushing for something different to be done, because you can't expect to do the same thing every time and expect different results. So one of the key issues that we have looked at in terms of Ghana's fight against corruption is how to strengthen prosecution, which comes under the umbrella of enforcement. So under enforcement, we have investigation and prosecution if somebody is found culpable. But the truth is, you can't just prosecute without evidence. So it is also important for us to realize that, especially when we have to go through the judicial system, so the wind of justice grinds slowly. So even though we citizens are having expectation that things have to be done quickly, it would also be unfortunate for us to jail people who are innocent, because even though some of these issues come up, we are not sure what exactly it is until the evidence is brought, until a competent court is able to prosecute somebody for that offense. Then we can conclude. So sometimes we need to hasten slowly. We want the right thing to be done, but at the same time we also have to exercise some caution in terms of what we need, because we need the evidence. And also when it comes to evidence in fighting corruption or in corruption cases, it happens in secrecy. So the evidence is not always out there and so obvious for you to see and then be able to implicate people and say that this is what evidence I have and all that. So it's kind of a little complicated, but I believe that we should come to the point that we should believe in our institutions, especially the independent mandated institutions, to see how they are able to work and also be able to hold them to account if they don't do that. For instance, if we look at the Auditor General, he was appointed by the former president just when he was on his way out. But for the first time, we have received an audit report that has brought issues during the administration of the president who appointed him. So that for me sends a signal. You can also
argue that that's because that government is no longer in power.
No, but it also suggests that what he is doing is also sending a signal to this present administration that if I was appointed under this administration and I'm able to expose things that happened around them, it means I will do likewise. And for me, that is a strong signal. And that is the independence we want our institutions to. So that our institutions will not be seen as appendages of the executive. And that also naturally brings about their role in terms of the oversight responsibilities that they have. So for me, that is the way to go. And as citizens, then we should be able to support such bold leaders who come out to exhibit political
so
will.
much that we lose track of it. Somebody like Woyomi's case has been pending, has been in court for years, and so now I'm sure most Ghanaians have even lost interest in the whole case.
We don't forget, especially that is why organizations like us exist, because for Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition, it is our sole aim to be able to track issues of corruption, regardless of the time. So in terms of corruption has no time frame. It's not like if you committed an act 5 years ago and we are able to expose it today, we can't go back to time to prosecute. So that is not but we need to have some consistency. We need to have somebody monitoring the process.
So
sorry,
I just want to tag on to what you said about the aim of the Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition and the whole sense of the impact of our drive against corruption. It's almost as if any time the more education or awareness or the more prosecutions are made, we almost have new cases of corruption allegations springing up. So what is your sense of the general drive against corruption, and are we making an impact? And secondly, tagging on that question also with, you mentioned about us focusing more on the preventive measures. Are we doing that enough? Are state institutions doing that enough to help the drive against corruption?
So let me start with the last question. In terms of the preventive measures, we are not doing enough. We still have some long way to go. Why am I saying that? If you look at Rwanda, with all the horrific history that they have so much advance that they have minimized, physical contact in terms of accessing public services. So you can do transactions with the public service online. You can do payments by mobile transactions. So it cuts off that direct contact, and that also minimizes the opportunities for people manipulating and then people taking advantage of vulnerable people. So that is where Ghana as a country should go, where we are able to minimize those interactions. And unfortunately, we have leadership speaking to those issues, but that has not translated into action. For instance, if you look at the Corruption Perception Index, we have had average scores for a while. Because if you look at Ghana in terms of the laws that we have come so much of age that we should, even in terms of fighting corruption, be an example to others.
So that fits into the second question. Are we winning this fight? Is it ever?
Yes, it can. We are not winning, but we are putting certain things in place that I believe that if they are well resourced, we will be able to get there. For instance, one of the structures that have been put in place is the Office of the Special Prosecutor, to have a sole focus on fighting corruption, because if you look at the other institutions, they are multi-purpose institutions, they have other things they are dealing with. So once this is single, this is what you are looking at. It means that the special prosecutor is spending its time and energy in that regard. But as I said, we need to complement that with the preventive measures. we need to complement that with resourcing the other institutions, because the special prosecutor alone, even in terms of prosecution, cannot work alone. They need people in the districts, they need people at the regional levels to be able to supply the information. Aside that, we have this law called whistleblowing. But how many high-profile whistleblowing have we ever had?
That's it.
Meaning that citizens are not even courageous and bold enough to be able to blow the whistle on corruption. So that is also something that we have to look at. And our work has taken us to the field, and we have seen citizens having this fear that I wouldn't want to put my life at risk for that. So how, as a country, we need to look at how do we motivate citizens so that they can boldly blow the whistle on corruption and see it as a service to the nation, as their patriotic contribution to Ghana, and not see it as, okay, it is me and myself. But those are things that we could do. And another one I could also talk about, it has to do with a good law that we have not been able to look at, is asset declaration.
Okay.
Our current law on that is just I would exactly it is not something that we can write home about. So we have a law in our books, but in effect it's not a law that we can even boast of. So we are even better off saying that we don't have a law, because
so that we can take it up and
we will as soon as the right to information is dealt with, that is one of the laws that we are going to work on, because we need public officers to declare their assets and for us to verify the declared assets. And it's also not just assets, interestingly, even though we say asset declaration, it's also you are declaring your liabilities. Meaning that you are coming into office, we need to know how much you are coming into office. You could come to office indebted. And then you come and enrich yourself in public office to pay it off. So we need to know how you come in, and when you are leaving, we also need to know how you go. So that is something that and then we wish that citizens will support the process, even as they did for the RTI bill.
Well, and on that note, we have been speaking to Beauty Emefanate, Executive Secretary of Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition. We've been talking about the scandals that have riddled us because of corruption practices that have taken place. And Beauty is saying that even though we're not exactly winning, they are putting in structures to help us win and eventually get there. So you have a role to play, I have a role to play, we all have a role to play to help fight corruption in Ghana. We still have more here on Big Bang, so stay with us. We're still here on Big Bang, and like we told you, some MPs have been called because they have been alleged to have been involved in receiving double salaries. There's a video out there when they went to visit the CID to get their statements out there. Let's see this.
I have been interviewed and also asked to write a caution statement. What they are investigating me for is stealing, and obviously I have not stolen from anybody.
They have good auditors at the finance. If I owe the state, they will even write first to alert you that you owe the state. And if they have not done that, they can't do that too on a quiet without our knowledge.
Article 71 is clear. Every MP and a minister who works does not take salary until the committee determines that salary. I would be happy to know, as we speak now, those who are MPs and ministers within the NPP, how much is their salary? The president should tell us who has determined his salary. The Speaker of Parliament and the leadership should tell us what is the salary.
So you saw the video out there. I don't know what you make of it, but let's go to it and discuss it.
How Inus Husseini was so, he looked so calm. And forgive me.
So why are you laughing? But there's nothing to fear. Well, you'll be calm.
Forgive me, but when he said that, well, I'm being investigated for stealing, but God knows I've never stolen anything from anybody. But really, we can only wait for the outcome of this investigation. But I have been thinking how possible it is for an MP who is also a minister to receive double salary, because Article 71 spells out clear.
It's like he did for his MPs, so that at least even as you are in office, there's nothing like we're accruing you with some amount and subsequently will top up when we figure out. I think that allows the room for such mistakes to happen. And I think it's not really the ministers necessarily who only have to be punished. Controller and accountant general, the money passes through certain hands before it gets there. So all these checks and balances at the various stops have to also be questioned.
So basically, it goes back to a lack of a sound financial management architecture. You know, that is the crux of the matter, and we hope that this is resolved.
But on the lighter side, if you also receive something twice, when you know you should get it once, what do you do?
What would I do? I would thank God, go for Thanksgiving service and spread myself.
No, but you know, there are clear regulations. When I see things in my bank account, I know it's not mine. I'm very reluctant to touch it, because
I will touch it.
For whatever
mobile money
before,
mobile money that I didn't know where it was coming from. I took it. I chopped it.
Those monies are missing.
When these people come into office, they are given orientation. There are clear regulations on these. So what went amiss?
But you know,
we'll find out.
Let's wait for the outcome of this investigation.
You see, because we take things for granted. Like, I know maybe my salary is, let me give you a wrong, maybe 500 CDs. So far as I get some 500 CDs, whether really is maybe 520 or 500. So far as it's in the range, it's that is that. But maybe clearly, if we took time to actually scrutinize these things,
if wrong money enters my account, I go chop.
That means that she got chop. But anyway, guys, we don't have any more time on Big Bang. We're wrapping it up. We're speaking about the alleged MPs who have taken double salaries, and also SNIT software scandal, situating it in the fact of corruption. And we've spoken a lot about it. Those are our views, but I'm sure you have views out there, and certainly we'll give you a platform to share them as usual. But we'll take a break.
So for you, our viewers out there who love beats like myself, today on Career Woman, we are hosting Cinderella Sefako Afianu, who is the founder of Sefako, a brand that is into making African beads and accessories. We have her in the studio here to learn more about herself and her business. You're welcome to the show, Cindy.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Well, I like your neck.
I know, I like your neck piece, and I hope I'll be going
it's
with
lovely.
that. My dress as well.
Definitely, yes.
Why not? Sure.
So let's get to know you better.
Okay.
Tell us a bit about yourself before we get into, more of what you do.
Okay, so as you said earlier, Cinderella Sefako Afianu is my name. I'm a 26-year-old lady.
Okay.
I had my tertiary education at UPSA after I had my national service at GIPC, Ghana Investment Promotion Center. Okay. So it was after or during that time, I love handmade stuff. I should say I'm very creative, so I like to draw, I like to make things out of anything. I like to mold. So a few months after service, a lady walked in the office, and she was wearing this very simple handmade African accessories, and I was like, okay, I can make this. So my mom sews anyway, so I went home and I took a piece of cloth and I tried something. So at first it was just a hobby. I started wearing it to church, and people were buying off my neck. They were like, okay.
Just like I might get this one off your neck.
So okay, so did you do this yourself, or where can I get? Then I'll tell them, yes, I did. So can you make a sample for me? So that's how it started. So after a while, I was like, okay, I can make this as a business. Okay. I can do this and earn something out of it. And honestly, I was still looking for a job. So in the beginning, when you're starting anything, it's not that easy, okay? So I created this Instagram page. That's where my advertisements was mainly at Instagram. So I started and I saw that people like the responses, and Ghanaians like creative stuff. So I started something different. I know it's out there, but mine is a bit different.
How so?
Especially with the designs I call the petal necklaces.
Okay, is this
I don't have, no, this is not one. Okay. I don't have a sample here, but that's quite different. I know like the capes are quite common, but yeah. I get the inspiration also from the fabric design. I can cut out the fabric design and then create something out of it.
Okay.
Yeah. So then in October 2016, I started it as a business. So I stopped looking for a job.
Exactly.
Actually.
that was
like, were you still searching?
Exactly.
After you realized you were making money out of it, why would you want to even
But
go
my
back
dad was like, this is a hobby. I didn't learn it.
Right.
It's talent. So I should still search for a job whilst I do this as a hobby. So as time went on, I had to meet demands, and it was really difficult to get to look for a job, I should say.
Okay.
So,
but that's a job in itself, a whole industry, a factory.
you know our fathers. Sorry, a typical Ewe dad like mine.
So how, I mean, now you've brought your dad in, so we have to ask, how is he now that he realized you're making enough out of
he
this,
helps
you're
me.
fulfilled?
Oh, he does.
He's my first employee, actually. Aside,
Nice.
aside
I
employee I
think
have.
that this is very innovative, and it comes back to fighting this unemployment that has become a monster in this country.
Yeah.
There are so many youth out there who know to do so many things, but we are all looking for this white collar job. But how did you get started? Who gave you the capital? How did you get the raw materials, the fabrics and things? How was it like for you starting?
Okay, so with me, it was quite easy because my mom sews. She's a seamstress. So I just got a piece from
Stealing
her.
fabric.
Yeah, but initially, I didn't know what to put in it. You know, I used the cords.
So can you try something for us to see how easy or difficult that will be?
So this is a normal cord, and this for every lady, this is a hairpin. So depending on how thick you would want it or how stuffy you would want it, this is just a piece of cloth I sewed. You turn inside out, then after you just
So
So you sew just, you hand just one side of the cloth.
you just sew straight,
Okay.
and then you turn it inside
back.
out.
Right.
Yeah, back in.
So what
So
are you making?
So I'm making a simple knot necklace.
Okay.
But the
just a
pin is to be
simple-
your guide.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
So it can get in faster. Yeah. So just a simple knot necklace.
So, I mean, reading your profile, you said that this is a natural talent. How did you discover it? And so does it mean that you haven't had any formal training in doing this stuff?
No,
None at all?
No. They say practice makes man perfect. So as I try doing things, customers will come, show me pictures.
Okay.
Do you know how to do this? Or I see someone with a normal bead. You know, what I'm wearing is with fabric. But I see someone with the normal bead. And I will tell myself, okay, I can do the same thing but with fabric. Okay, so that's also an inspiration.
Okay.
But I didn't learn them.
Okay.
Yes. Let's say God's gift to me.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you know, improve, like you said, practice makes them. But you see
I do.
some things
And you
online,
read
you
these
go
days because of
researching,
social
exactly.
media.
Yeah.
You can also be seeing some stuff online, learning how to do them, because I'm sure you can't just sit down and depend on talent and still survive or make it.
Just like the bangle, I went online. I saw this is from plastic bottle.
Okay.
So like
You did it?
Regular plastic.
yes, like a regular belacqua. You know, the lines are already there. So when you just cut out the lines,
Wow.
you just put the sides on a hot iron, the two sides, and it becomes harder than the usual. Then after you wrap the cloth around it, then it becomes like this.
Oh.
So you see, actually, are helping deal with the issue of sanitation.
Exactly.
Because we have so many
now
plastics.
if you
Okay,
take-
we'll be bringing them to you.
So I don't throw plastic bottles away
away.
because I need them for my bangles.
Wow.
So then you
And
have
there's money all around us. Everything around us is money.
It's money. Everything around us is
So,
money.
so about how much does a chain like this go for?
30 CDs.
Wow. Like what you're wearing.
What I'm wearing is 35.
Wow.
But the bangle is 40 CDs. Very affordable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does it come with earrings as well?
If you do want them
If
with
you want.
earrings, yeah.
Okay.
So I just keep
Are
making
you able
knots.
to make them in large scale?
So when I make
Wow.
when I make the hook, then that's how it looks.
Okay.
Let me try it and see.
I'm not done yet, but
Yes, just try it and see.
Interesting.
That's nice.
Oh, I have my own already.
so you can
But, okay, so how many people do you
can even
employ?
use it on-
How many people work with you?
for now I have one guy with
Wow.
me. So I used to mainly do it from online. I used to do it from home, but I recently got a shop at Danceman, and I have one person. In addition to my dad works from home, wherever he is. So because he's with my mom,
do you pay him?
And my husband also helps me.
You pay your dad?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, you do?
If he's in the studio, he will testify.
So he's your staff?
He does his own stuff. So when he's less busy, he does help me.
So what other things do you do? So walk us through the range of your products.
Okay, so I just have a few samples
done, so
here.
maybe you can go ahead
So
with them.
let me just. What is this earrings?
Yes, please.
Okay.
This would go with this.
That's
Wow.
that's a beautiful match.
And is this also another necklace?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay.
Let's
That
see
comes
that.
with earrings as well.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
I do ribbons
just
as well, bow ties,
imagining-
but I don't have.
Imagining
samples
myself with this one in a plain white
Of
dress.
course, it has to be plain.
Oh
to
my
put.
God.
There you go.
Wow.
Cute and
This is
pretty.
awesome.
Yeah.
So how
This is
I
so
mean
nice.
the various designs should come about. Like you said, you see some African beaded one,
This
and then you
another
decide. I'm
lovely.
wondering, at what point did you decide to infuse it with beads? You've got beads in some of them. You've got other stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so I listen a lot to my customers.
Really nice.
So I used to use velvet for the ends. You just tie it.
Okay.
It's adjustable. And some people think it's nice, some don't. Some feel, okay, why don't you have a little hook at the back? So when I go to town, I go and ask, okay, where can I get hooks for accessories? And then I do make samples. So that's how. So I listen to my customers too. They tell me they want beads at the end. Some people would prefer maybe their favorite color dominating. Maybe if your favorite color is green and orange, I'll do that for you.
Nice.
So where do we find you, Sefako? Because I'm sure
People
viewers
will be
would
getting more
love.
customers.
Yeah, I mean, that is nice.
So I'm located at Danceman, Mango Down, right opposite Megan Pharmacy.
Okay.
Yes.
And is there a phone number we can call, or are you online?
I'm on
Instagram.
Okay.
And my phone line is 0246 586 173.
Okay.
MTN.
But Instagram, what's your
_SEPHAKOR _. So that's _ Sephako _ But my Sephako is with a PH.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the distinction. Anyway, but we're proud of you. Kudos.
Thank you very
Well
much.
done.
What are you doing with the marketing? BSC marketing. Shelving it?
I don't know. I think I'm
still working.
I do strategize. So I read a little branding, a little of advertisements and all that. So it helps me with what I'm doing.
Nice.
Okay, nice.
Well done, Sefako.
Yes,
Thank
well
you.
done.
Well
So,
done, we're proud of you.
you've just seen Sefako. You've seen the great stuff that she does. So if you're watching and you are unemployed, or you know somebody who is unemployed, the question is, what gifts and talents do you have? What can you do? And also, what problems do you see around you? Because anywhere there's a problem, there's potential income. So please, we hope that you've been inspired by her, and you can move from here and do something for yourself if you don't have a job. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this break.
You're welcome back from that break. This is still Captured by Women. Now it's time for lifestyle, and today we are talking about dressing appropriately, how to choose the right kind of clothes for which program or event at what time, because it all counts. I mean, a lot happens in town and around us. A case in point is the just ended VGMA. We saw all manner of dressings on the red carpet and even around the International Conference Center. But let's take a look at what people wore, and then we come back and continue. Okay, so we saw with the ladies, and let me introduce our guest for this segment, who is a fashionista herself. She's known for her great sense of fashion in the person of Karen Kashkane, a newly wedded bride.
Well, it has, but I mean, I've argued with people that have always been Karen Cash, the brand. You know, I created a brand for myself, and you know, being married doesn't mean the brand has changed. It's still the same. My husband understands totally.
Okay.
So for paper purposes, yes, it will be Karen Techi, but the Karen Kashkane, the brand still, you know, is growing.
Okay, so Karen Cash, now Mrs. Techi.
Yeah.
Congratulations anyway.
Thank you so much.
Did you see the VG? I'm sure you were on honeymoon then.
Yes, I was on honeymoon at home.
Okay, so you
yes, I was. It was a relaxing time for me, and of course, what a better way to watch than being at home, seated, relaxed, and observing. And I think it was a good time for me. Most of the time, like I said before, I've been there, so you don't get the chance to really see what everybody is wearing. I think the best way to observe is being at a distance and watching clearly. And this year, I must say that I think everybody expected drama, a lot of drama with regards to fashion, isn't it? Exactly. We saw a more colorful red carpet last year, but this year it looks like everybody sort of like played safe because people didn't want to be criticized. But I'll tell you what, last year, I maybe everybody except me had a problem with people dressing up over the top. Do you know why? For me, music is art and fashion is art. If you're not artistic, you wouldn't want to be regular. If I wear this to the VGMAs, come on, I won't stand out. I will just look regular. And people think that, okay, these are ordinary events, so people should just dress down or stuff like that. These people going to the event are artists. They don't think like all of us. They think out of the box. They're very artistic with what they do and how they want to come across and what have you. So for me, I think that they dress their parts. Somebody will argue with me.
Exactly. Because Karen, I was coming to it that these are the same artists we've seen over the years attending VGMAs, but it hadn't been so explosive up until like last year where we thought, maybe this is too much.
Okay, so because they came with their presence, we had things to talk about. This year, did we have a lot to talk about?
Really,
you see how everybody at Patapa shined because he was like different to another level.
So, but let's look at Patapa's case as, I mean, was it appropriate for the occasion?
Let me add to that. So, who slayed and who didn't at the VGMAs?
Let me start with Patapa's. It was a bad fit. The outfit itself suited the occasion, the red carpet, but the fit. Imagine I came here wearing this outfit in like another size. It would be a totally different fit. So he had the idea, but it wasn't put together properly. Unfortunately, the reason why people would hire stylists to put their outfits together for them, so they will advise that this should be smaller or bigger, or use a black tie instead of an orange, kind of like putting two primary colors together. You get me? Talking about who slayed and who didn't, I think this year people didn't come to slay. Like people played too safe for me, and
so it wasn't exciting for you then.
We saw some people in jacket, t-shirt, I will mention names, with a cap and a kambu, some oversized kambus here and there. But we are looking at dressing appropriately. For occasion.
I think we had a few really good outfits though. I mean, the host Bella Mundi looked extremely gorgeous. Kafui Danku as well. Anita, TV host, she looked good as well. And a few other people looked
quite good, but then again, it was too safe.
Okay.
We didn't see the artistic part of the whole event being music, which is a great art. You know, the people who would have brought their presents, and I don't know if those people were looking out for didn't come. So we didn't get the look, but those who did, most of them looked their parts.
Okay.
I must say.
Karen, let's go down to the everyday ordinary person, say a working woman, any other woman. What kind of thing is appropriate for wear? How do you put the colors together and the accessories?
Okay, so everybody has their personal style. Before I go into who is dressing better and who's not, what you're comfortable in would not be exactly same as me, and it cuts across every human being, whether male or female. You probably love your denim with your smart casual tops. You probably love your skirts and your jackets. You love your dresses, and I love my jumpsuits. So you can use somebody's style to criticize another person's style. I always advise people that know your personal style and stick to it. If you know your personal style, it comes with knowing your body type and dressing accordingly.
Do Ghanaians know that?
Not a lot.
That's a sore subject.
Now 80% of Ghanaians don't know their body types, and they don't know what works for them. Most of us unfortunately follow fashion and we follow trends because this is trending and I have to have it. You realize that this top is very much in vogue, and look how Catherine is just rocking it with her inner top because she's got the cleavage and it's not supposed to show. A lot of people think that this top is in vogue and we have to wear it, but not knowing your body type, knowing that if you have a bigger cleavage, you need to wear tops that will throw the attention off it and stuff like that. So yes, people are following trends, but unfortunately they're not building on their personal style and looking appropriate. Reason why you think that we're not there yet with regards to how we carry ourselves with fashion.
But when you look around in general, even the ordinary day dressing that we do, what's your take? Because I've seen some Ghanaian women who obviously do not know their body shapes, and so I see huge women wearing something like tight. Like, what was that?
I would want to find out what is lacking.
What
is it that we do not have? Because you see red carpet makeups in the offices. I mean, serious perfumes in the bank, and sometimes, oh my God.
Do you know what? Some of us doing stuff are overdoing it. A few other, but one major problem in Ghana and maybe Africa as a whole is that fashion is expensive. We don't make affordable clothes here to be able to afford good clothes. So if you want to look good to the office, it means you're spending a fortune to build a nice wardrobe. So then if I have like my 200 cedis budget, I'll just go to Kantamanto and buy what I can afford, which unfortunately might not probably be working. So the problem here is that for me, being a fashion retailer, I must say that the average Ghanaian working person cannot afford to build a very decent wardrobe to look on point every day.
Karen, let me throw this in before we wrap up. So what two top tips would you share when it comes to style with our viewers?
I say this everywhere, maybe it's becoming cliche. Know your body type and dress accordingly. That's my first fashion tip. If you're not comfortable with it, it means for everybody you have a conscience. It cuts across religion and everything. The first thing you wake up in the morning when you dress up and look in the mirror, if the outfit is correct, your conscience will tell you. If it's not working, it will tell you. So you realize that you go outside and you'll be asking, do you think my dress is okay? Your brain told you at home before
but you didn't mind it.
Exactly. So follow your conscience. It's the first thing that speaks to you in the morning with regards to fashion. So know your body type and dress accordingly. Read and observe yourself in the mirror. There's nothing wrong with that, and know that. I mean, I'll probably have to come here and teach people their body types. I'll say quickly. There's the strawberry, there's the rectangular, there's the apple, there's a pear, and the hourglass.
Body shape.
There's 5. Yes, pear.
Apple.
Pear, you're smaller.
Karen is coming back on another episode, but I'm sure people would want to find you to help them in this trend.
Yeah, I usually do, sort of like style inspirations on my personal Instagram page, which is Karen Cash Kane, and I have a boutique page which is Cash Boutique _GH, where I usually pair some clothes and teach you how to wear it and then sell it as well. And then also my Facebook page is Karen Kane. I usually do style inspirations all the time. Every now and then I'll blog as well on www.karencashkane.com.
And your contact?
Yes. My contact is 026-831-9055. Or if you follow me on Instagram, it's Karen Cash Kane. You find my contact there, and then I'll be ever ready to help you when you come to my store.
Nice.
Wow. Thank you very much, Karen.
Thank you for having me.
And that has been very great tips there. At least today, you should know your body type, the pear, the Coca-Cola, the malt, the strawberry, the pencil, the pepper, and all that. But Karen will definitely come back again to take us through more serious lessons of what to wear, when, to which events, the type of perfume to use, and all that. But today has been very, very, very great. We have been talking about the University of Ghana clash between the students of Katanga and Commonwealth Hall. We spoke about the SNIT software scandal and matters arising. We also spoke about the alleged double salary that has been received by some members of parliament who were also ministers, as well as speaking to a very innovative and creative woman, Sefako, who didn't sit at home waiting for government employment, but did something on her own and is now a boss of her own. We also ended with Karen on lifestyle, what to wear to which events. And ladies, today has been great.
It has been very interesting. And on that note, we'll say goodbye to our challenge viewers. We'll come same time next week at 3 p.m. Make sure you make a date with us, because we'll be teaching you more. Maybe Karen will pass through again. So stay tuned. We'll be back next week. Enjoy your weekend. Bye.
Have a great weekend.